Hey everyone, and welcome to part 2 of my Robbins and Meyers fan restoration. So far we've proven that the fan runs and it's a viable restoration project, so let's get into the cosmetics and see what ultimately this fan is going to look like. Let's get busy. I'm going to do the acetone test on the badge. There's a chance. Huh. So, look at that. That badge. You can now see the R&M on it. The interesting thing is that that part that you see that's silver used to be what was black. So, at least now we can identify this thing. It is coming out. Look at, so you can see the black of the flag is kind of staying. So if I'm careful, I may be able to kind of save this badge without, having to completely refinish it. It's just that there's so much paint on here. I thought about using a cleaner wax on it, but the problem with the cleaner wax is it's very abrasive and it may actually just take the black off with it. Well, that's probably as good as this is going to get it. We're going to need to use some type of polish on there to clean that badge up. Badge is easily removable. You just bend these 4 tabs up and it'll come off, but for cleaning purposes it can stay where it is. I'm going to go out and see if I can get anything off the model number. Maybe we can actually identify this thing. Hey, Nacho. I know I said I was done for the day, but I expected to have company here and they're late, so we'll just do this for a while. Coming out nice. You can see the speed indicators on it now. I don't want to rub too hard. I'll take the black off. M80R may be the model number. Alright, so let's get a close-up of that. That badge cleaned up fairly well. We took some of the black off, but not all of it. List number 1204-A. That may be the model number. But you know what? I happen to have in my garage, I think, This is a rare book. I don't know if it's still in print anymore. Get it out of here. This is Collector's Guide to Electric Fans. So, give me a minute. Let's look up Robbins and Meyers. Miscellaneous, I guess. Menominee, Michigan. R&M, okay. Here's R&M. Close, type 2510. Alright, so Robbins and Meyers was Art Deco by the 30s. That's making me think this thing's older than that. This is close. This is close. R&M 1204. Alright, let's see if that was what it was. That looks very close because the blade is very small for the size of the cage. Did it say 1204? $1204A. Alright, so there we have it. It's a Robbins and Meyers 1204 12-inch blade, 1935. A standard depression air fan with a modified S wire guard. The base and motor housing are made of stamped steel finished in glossed black. A handle is located at the top for easy transport. The base has a 3-speed slide switch. Well, according to whenever this book was made, which was quite a while ago, this fan, when I bought it, was only worth $3, maybe $14, I don't know. When was this book published? Oh, look at that. Tampa Hillsborough County Public Library. What a coincidence. I got this book when I lived in Massachusetts. Now it's come home. 1997. So, 26 years ago, that fan was worth 14 bucks. Guaranteed it's worth considerably more now. So we've identified it. That's awesome. We've identified the fan, Nacho. Isn't that awesome? I know you're thrilled. Okay, we're getting into the cosmetic phase here. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I gotta fix that, and I gotta fix that. I gotta figure that one out. But so the body of the fan will definitely just be black. I don't think I'll use hammered black. I'll try to get a gloss black and see. I'll have to sand it down. This is gonna require a lot of sanding and wire brushing, just even on the body. The cage, unfortunately, there is no easy way to clean these up without a sandblaster. So it's a sandpaper each one of these pieces separately. This I will paint hammered black. The badge, I don't know, it's got black paint on it, which it's not supposed to. This stuff should clean up. I may just try soap and water mix to get the rest of this off. If not, I'll try car wax. Hi, Muggsy. You gonna pay attention to what I'm doing today? Or are we just gonna goof around? We're gonna goof around. The blades, it's gonna be an interesting one. So after I get these blades straightened, I'm gonna paint them. I know if they were in great shape, I'd leave them as aluminum, but they are really beat up. So I'm gonna paint them. So look at how easy it spins now. How awesome is that? I will clean the paint off this brass piece and keep this brass. This piece here, this metal piece, this iron piece, that should be black. And the blades should be, I'm thinking a gray. You know what color I think would be great? If I have enough of it, if I can find it. On the bumper of the Suburban, I used dark steel. I think it was a dark steel metallic, and it really did look like metal. It really did. So let's take stock, and I didn't have enough nuts for this. I don't have enough screws for this. Let's grab my metal magnet bin and see what I've got left for hardware. So I'd like to put cap nuts there. I used to have some. So let's take stock. Let's see what we got for paint before I decide if I need to make a trip to the hardware store to get black. I had a can of Krylon black, but I did use it. So I don't know how much is left. Oh yeah, there's the Krylon black right here. I don't know. Not quite half full. It's got a good gloss on that black though. And here's dark steel. There's probably enough there for the blades. I got primer, right? Jeez. No, I think I'll be using this primer. I got plenty of that. I gotta do that on the base anyway. Do you have any more black? There's hammered black. I need some hammered black for the cage. What's that? This is gloss black engine enamel. I got plenty of this. I could try this. It won't be as glossy, I think, as the Rust-Oleum. But these fans didn't look like car paint either. It'll be more accurate black, so that's just me being optimistic. So that's my collection of paint. Now, hardware. I used to have cap nuts. All right, well, I found my cap nuts, so I just need a screw like this to hold down the base. Not imperative, but I won't bore you. That's going to be a long search for finding that thing. All right. So we've got all our parts out. I'm gonna have to remove the power cord to paint it, which is fine. I've got all my hardware back together except for that one screw I want for that. So I'm dressed in ripped up clothes because I'm gonna get filthy cleaning this. So let's get busy. The soap and water didn't do much on the badge. I'm gonna do this first because it's early. I'm getting off to a slow start this morning. Let's see. I don't know what all this grease. I guess it's grease. I don't know. Hoping this will take it off. I'm hesitant to use like compounding on it because compounding is like 600 grit. It'll take a lot of the paint off, and there's no reason for that if I can avoid it. So, you're not going to believe it. Underneath all of that grime, in spite of this being an industrial fan, was not just a stamped metal badge. was actually a beautiful brass. Look at that. That is going to take this restoration to a different level. Look at that mirror shine I got on that. I know it's just an industrial fan, and most people would have been like, yeah, who cares? Well, it survived, what, 87 years of abuse and neglect, being run probably in a factory or a garage somewhere forever until it just stopped due to lack of maintenance. And then it was just thrown in a barn or outside. I don't know. It's so rusty, it could have been outside. Well, we're going to bring it back. It deserves that. All right, next steps. Let's get busy. Okay, time to take our now awesome badge off the cage so we can sand this down and paint it. So basically, see these tabs here? All you gotta do is bend them up. Just bend up all four and the badge will come off. This will give me an opportunity as well to sand the outside of the badge. So let's see, the cage went on like this. Is there a proper orientation for this thing? Or is it the same? Looks to be the same no matter how you do it, so you can just take this guy off. Usually a cardboard backing behind it. You don't want to lose that. Well, it's not cardboard, it's felt. I've never seen that before. Interesting. All right, so gloves are going on. This is a dirty job. I'm gonna go over in the shade and do it with sandpaper, and I've never really liked doing this. It's getting the cage out of the way because it's my least favorite. It's just tedious work. So I'm doing it the manual way. Sandpaper. Fortunately, the paint is coming off the rust and paint is coming off pretty easy. So the hammered black should do well, covering all the rough edges up. There is no substitute for manual labor. Anyone curious, 120 grit. I don't care if it's roughed up. I'm not trying to polish it. Just get loose paint and rust off of it, and fast. Little acetone and primer, and we'll hit it. Alright, so I'm going to paint the prime the underside first. This is that rust reformer primer. I don't know if it's all that necessary on the cage. However, it is the only primer that I have a can of. My automotive primer is pretty much out. Okay, give that about 10 to 20 minutes. Flip it, do another coat. While we're at it, let's take the fan blades off and see what we can do. I should have put some oil on this shaft yesterday so these would come off easier. So we've got 2 bad blades and 2 good ones. And this is going to be a trick. I thought about this last night. I'm going to try a vise to smooth these wrinkles out. It's a big maybe. But I'm not a professional hammer man for body work. They'd be able to figure it out. Let's try. Let's just see. Oh, smoother. All right, let's look at this guy. We'll do it before after. We'll compare. That guy's pretty bad. It's not just the wrinkles, of course. The blades are pushed back. There's a lot of other issues going on. It's significantly better. This is working better than I thought. Oh, this one's really bad. Look at that. I gotta wonder, what happened? What did somebody do? Just stick a screwdriver in there and just mash them? And why? Was it a kid did it? Not bad. This blade is noticeably folded here. I'm gonna push it out a little bit. I gotta be careful. This one is. Oop, see, I gotta be careful. Don't go too far. These are very soft aluminum blades. I gotta put another wrinkle in it. Take that out. Straighten this back out. Okay, I'm not gonna get this bubble out, I guess. Okay. Let's get the sandpaper. Sand this debris off. I'm not gonna use hammered finish on these, so I gotta get them smoother than that. All right, go back over to our sanding station. Yeah, it's coming off. So that these do. This is a bummer because, you know, there's only so perfect I'm going to be able to get these blades. And I don't think it'll be perfect enough. Okay. Let's do a little bit more straightening. I've got the back masked up, the back brass. So this brass ring here is a little tricky. So what I did was I stuck a wire nut in there. I'm gonna kind of use that to hold the tape. I'll have to go around it probably a couple times to make sure I'm right at the edge. These things are not easy to do. I could do it with a bunch of little pieces, but I got most of it. That's pretty much it. Anything else I'll be able to get off with a little steel wool once it's painted. I may not paint these pieces different. I don't know if it's necessary. All right, let's prime it. next step, the motor. I'm going to take a break. It is, again, hot as hell. It's already 85 degrees. It's not even 11 in the morning yet. Okay. This is what I used on the Suburban bumper. Now, this is that funky sprayer, and these always worry me. They spit like mad. So I've heavily shaken this can. See what it does. Put a glove on. Let's paint the reverse first. Looks good. I have to hold on to that for a minute. Now it's set, so although maybe I can balance it on that, and I can paint the other side. Balance. Yep. All right. Yeah. And we are almost out of paint. I got one blade left to go. Well, I would have liked to have done a thicker coat, but that's all the paint I've got. You can see this blade in particular, that blade, you can see all the weird bends in it, which is unfortunate, but also unavoidable. There's just no way I'm going to be able to do it. Somebody out there may be able to straighten these better, but not me. Alright, so that is the last of my dark steel. Alright, so now we got the cage. Let's paint that. Let's go over here to do that. Again, with hammered. Shake the hell out of it. Let's see. Okay. We'll let that dry for a bit, and then we'll flip it to the other side. Okay, motor. Alright, so we got to kind of take it back apart. We got to take the power cord off. And you got to clean it, sand it. This piece here, I think I want to hit it with some clear. I don't think I'm going to paint that, so I'm going to hit it with a shot of clear now to preserve it, the bare metal look. When this is loose, I can take it off after I've painted it. I'm going to leave it on to move it, but I'm going to paint it hopefully with what's left of the dark steel. gonna put some rust reformer on this base plate. Gonna need another cardboard box, and lo and behold, it's one of the first days I don't have one. But I don't need to be precise or anything. Just don't want to paint my table. I can be close as I want. Time to flip the cage over, I think. Should have set, at least for the small amount that will be touching the board. These cages waste a lot of paint. For the amount of coverage, I mean, you got to go over every little turn and twist and separately and at every angle. Yeah, cage looks done. All right, I've been tempting fate enough. Let's be very careful and bring the blades in so they can finish drying. I do not want these to fall over. You'll note I also painted the ring that we're going to use to hold the felt pad onto the base. Dry? Not quite. Not quite dry. So I'm going to take a break for a few. Not that I did much this time, but I did paint. So. Okay. Let's prep the body for paint. That's dry. Mostly, this means wiping the hell out of everything with acetone. You get better gloves for that. I'm going to sand all the rough spots down, of which there are many. There are people out there that would think, oh, but you're ruining the lovely patina. Yeah. I guess what I'm doing right now shows what I think of that idea. If you can stop it from looking like it's a beat up piece of junk, do it. I mean, my skill set isn't going to bring this to perfection because I cannot fix those blades, and I'm unwilling to take the motor apart to rewire this because the wires are in good shape other than the sleeving on it, which I have an innovative fix for that as well. This thing is interesting. There was a tag on the back of this at one point. I wonder what it was. Back in the day, you could rent these fans, and that might be what that is. It's a tag from the rental place. Unfortunately, I can no longer read it. There's not enough left. So I'm just going to take it completely off. But I had one fan that still had a perfect condition rental tag on it. I don't know what that's made out of, so I don't want to paint over it. Going to be interesting. So there's going to be a lot of dirt and oil off of this thing. Alright, let's take care of this. I didn't hit that with clear yet. I want to do that. Not much acetone left. This is going to eat up a lot of it. This thing has got a lot of oil on it. And a lot of that oil I put on it. And I was getting the motor spinning, which now spins like new. You know, an interesting thing about 1930s fans is this is an era where, for the most part, we're hitting by the late 20s or so, where they had figured it out, all the electrics. And they hadn't so much gone to cheaper materials like stamped metals or anything. So the 1930s fans were just rock solid, as this one demonstrates in the fact that 80 years of use and abuse, I guess, and you can just bring it back to life. You can't say you can do that with many things. But the very early fans, you know, they were reliable and all to a point, but nothing like these. These were unstoppable. I mean, who knows how many years this thing ran without ever seeing any oil added to it. A lot of these just ran. They just were wall mounted in a factory and they just ran, and nobody ever looked at them. And then when the factory closed down, sometimes they just went to the scrap yard. And this guy, somehow, being a cheap industrial fan, survived. I don't know how, but I'm glad it did. Any day I can get something like this for 20 bucks is a good day. So, we're gonna mask this thing up. So I gotta mask up. Actually, this badge looks like it comes off. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but it kind of does. Is both screws willing to turn? Nope. So we're gonna mask this off, mask the shaft, mask this off, and interestingly, look at all the, you do not want to get paint on the brushes in the motor. There's a bunch of holes, so you can stuff tape or something in there. I got a better solution. Let's get to masking. Note, when I mask the shaft here, I pull it out a little bit. They do usually have some flexibility in that, and that way the tape will go in and protect the inside as well. Okay, let's take care of these. So here, something which I use all the time, my kit of wire nuts. And you'll see some of these are already half painted. They have paint on. So these might be the right size, and they are. So that's what these were used for before. Plugging these holes so that paint doesn't get all over the brushes in the motor. This particular fan seems to have a lot of holes. So I'm going to end up using twice as many as normal. Hopefully I have that many of this size. It's going to be interesting. So there's one here which I am going to do the ball up some tape and stick it in, because it's right on the top of the oscillator box, and I'm not going to be able to get any paint if I do that. There we go. All right. So is this. I don't know that getting black paint all over that cord would hurt anything. It wouldn't, but it also wouldn't look good. All right, the motor is ready for primer. All right. So, you note I left the handle on. Guess I need to get under here. I'll hit it with primer first. So far it looks good. It looks like I got most of the oil. I'm not seeing it bubble up a lot. I know someone made a comment that I'm painting over paint. I don't really need the primer, but this thing has rust everywhere, so I don't want it bubbling through the paint at any point. And also, I want to see if I got oil anywhere. Okay. Okay, now let it dry. Be back in about 20 minutes. Okay, overall pretty good. We got one spot right here where it bubbled with oil. I assume it's oil, I really don't know. But, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hit it with some 500 to smooth it back down. And then I'm gonna test it with a little bit of primer again. While I was doing that, check out the cage. I put the badge on. Look at that. So the cage is pretty much done. Nice, huh? Never thought it would come out that good. So that's hammered black on the cage. Because the cage, I don't know, maybe I'm lazy. I didn't feel like spending that much time on it. Just hit this with a little bit more primer. See if it bubbles up again. Okay, let's give that a few minutes and we'll be ready to go. Well, we are going to paint it with black engine enamel. It won't cover up this rough surface here. nothing will unless I really aggressively sand it, which I don't particularly feel is warranted in the case of this fan. If I used hammered, it would kind of disguise the whole thing. Let's see how it looks with the black, and if I don't like it, I can always hit it with hammered. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes when this is dry. And I've got a little left in this can, so I'm going to do the underside with that. All right, now I got the underside done. I can take the handle off. All right, finish up this can and move on. So about one light coat. Give it a few minutes while I shake this can up. That's it. Let's take care of the handle with, so you're gonna do the handle with, hopefully I've got enough. Very little of this left, so it won't be a heavy coat. Okay. Coat number 3. You don't want to wait too long between coats. Okay, 3 coats may do it. It's got a good gloss on it now. Cage is done. Fan looks good. It's shiny. It's not as shiny as it would have been with Krylon, but this engine enamel is tough paint. It's really good stuff. And I had just enough, just enough of this to do the handle. So hopefully I don't need any touch-up on that. If I do, I'll paint the handle a different color. Once everything's all set and dried, which is, you know, not today probably, I'm going to take off the wing nut, that wing nut, and paint that, just to give it a little flair. And let's look at the blades. The blades are done now as well. Nacho wants to go in. I'll be there in a minute. Here's the blades. You know, you can see the bends in them, but it's a nice color. It'll look good with the black. Hopefully I've got enough of the bends out that I can balance these sufficiently. All right, I'm gonna let it sit for a while longer, so let it dry before I even attempt to put anything back together. We are essentially dry. Let's see how it all looks. Nice. save these guys for the next one. So, what's left? I gotta do the felt. And then assemble it, balance the blades, put the power cord on, and then hardware, and then fix this, which, as I said, I have a idea for how to do that, but not sure if I should. I mean, it feels pretty dry, but it's only been a couple hours, so I don't know how far I should take it. All right, I got the handle on it, so decided I'm gonna reassemble it to a point. I'm not gonna do everything, but I'll be putting the cage in the blade zone. I'll get to see what my paint scheme looks like. And this is always, you want to be very careful with your freshly painted blades here. Getting everything in. There are certain ways these things go in, and certain ways they'll cause you all sorts of grief. And you got to kind of feel your way in, figure it out. Got it. Like that. Badge goes like that. The slot on the shaft is right there. Golden. There we go. Yeah. All right, let's see cap nuts. Okay, we've got the cage and the blades on, so we get the full look of it. I don't have the felt on yet, but let's take a look. Sharp, huh? Compared to what it looked like before. So paint seems dry enough, so I'm going to proceed with trying to get the felt on, and it's going to be a fun process. You gotta watch that. Sometimes it's easy, but not often. Usually it's a struggle. I'm going to be very careful here. I've got a couple things to do. One is the power cord. So what you do with this, see, I've got, I think I showed you this yesterday. I've got the grommet slid back. That'll go in later. So we're gonna pull the cord through, and for a strain relief, we're gonna tie a knot in the cord. This is a pretty common practice. In fact, the cord that I took off of it had this as well. It's a little tricky figuring out exactly how much strain relief you need. But so see, let me get a close-up of that. So see, that'll prevent the cord from being pulled out, and it'll prevent tension from being put on those guys, those two leads there. All right, let's take care of that, and then try to work the felt onto it, which is, if the plate's not attached to the fan, it's significantly easier. I'll put the camera closer. Let's choose what color. I've got a few colors. Unfortunately, I don't have red anymore. All I've got is an assortment of greens. This is a genuine antique green. This probably would have been in the 20s. I think I'll go with this guy here. I don't want to go with blue. Makes no sense. Oh, there's another one. This is good. This is the right one. I didn't know it was hiding there. So I actually have the correct color. This green is closer to what would have been on it. Or black, which I don't have. All right, let's hook up the power cable first. Don't make them too tight. This is just ceramic. You don't want to break it or crack it. Putting this stuff on is definitely a you'll poke your eye out kid type of experience. These rings sometimes snap back at you. So all you really do is you wrap this stuff around. Let's start from the back. Pick a spot and start tucking it in, pulling it, tucking it in under this thing without getting folds and wrinkles and all that. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's not impossible. I've done it many times. Close, very close. Impressed, I think I got it. Any wrinkles under there? Nope. Okay, so now we got that. So now we trim it. Okay, so there's screws that go in here, and this will cause you no end of difficulty. So find where those screws go and make sure the felt is not in the way. This edge off. All right, we've got our 3 screws. Don't have 3 screws for that, but I have 2. Switch through, figure out where those screw holes are. Looks like one's right there. And yeah, with the new felt in the ring, it seldom just fits right down where it used to be. And by seldom, I mean, no, it's not going to. Because it takes a lot of weight to ultimately push that ring down all the way. Yep. Oh, it's a nice fit. Don't want to turn them too much. Look at that. I think we are pretty much done. Put the grommet in place. Other than that, I'll get something interesting on that. Okay, so we got two stress points on here and here, and I've got all this in the middle. I didn't want to cut the wires and run a tube up, which if it had been an easier one, that would have been the perfect solution. So we're going to do something else. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This is called wraparound shrink tubing, or zipper tubing, I think they call it. And it is just as you think it is. It is shrink tubing with glue, so you can wrap it around something. Now let's look at what we're trying to do. So we're trying to go around this cable, and especially at the two stress points, we want it. The rest of this is okay, but it kind of looks ratty. So let's see if this will work. This is big stuff. This is a very big tube, so I'm gonna have to trim it considerably. Let me get to that. And I will say, this stuff, as cool as it is really expensive. You don't want to waste it. See, this piece is way, way, way bigger than I need. This is very big stuff. We got a lot of glue on here. We don't need that much at all. So I'm going to do an experiment here. Hopefully I'm not wrong. I'm going to cut it right at this fold line. Go all the way down in there. Let's see what it does. I'm hesitant to hit this thing with heat right away. All right, it's not pretty, but it's sealed. I think she's ready to run, and for me to try to balance these blades a bit. Okay, many people have a school of thought on balancing blades. We can see right out, if you look at this blade, this is one of the straight blades. See how my finger can be right here, it doesn't hit it? This does. This one doesn't, this one doesn't, this does. So what's up? Is it this one's fine? This is one of the chewed up ones. This one's fine. That one's definitely not fine. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, okay, not okay. So these two, need to go back. All right. So really, we're just going to start by. Let me show you. See where this brace is right back here. We're going to push on that and bend these back somewhat. Now, if we ever get really lucky, this is all we need to do to get it to run right. Whereas these blades are completely and hopelessly bent, I very much doubt that that's going to work. I'm hesitant to push on these because I just painted them, but let's give it a shot. I'm going to put fingerprints on them. Okay. My phone wigged out for a second there, so it shut off. Good, 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 not good. Okay. Let's push this guy back a bit. They don't usually go too easy. They're like, they won't move, and then bam, it moves. Move, not enough. Yeah, I'm kind of screwing up my paint here. Better. This guy still has to go back just a little bit. See if I can get a better grip on it. Well, that pushed it back. Okay, so now we should be good. Now we're good. Good. Not perfect. This guy still nicks me just a little bit. Same time, I lost this nut for some reason. But we're gonna fire it up and see how it's gonna run. Let's plug it in and see how much it shakes. We know it was shaking so much before, it actually sounded like it was misfiring. So let's see. Significantly better. Not perfect, but better. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. One more. Just nicking, just nicking. This guy needs to go back just a smidge. Let's see. This is also one of the warped blades. It's funny, it's these guys I know are going to cause a problem. Still, it's just a tiny bit. Okay, let's give it a shot. Pretty good. I mean, there's very, very minimal shaking. I don't know if you can even hear it. I can't really hear it anymore. The cage shakes just a little bit, but considering the shape the blades are in, that's pretty awesome. And again, it's actually turning really quickly, but the frame rate makes it look like it's slow. Let me see if I can move away or anything, trying to get it so it looks normal. No, it doesn't look normal. There's nothing that makes this thing feel normal. I suppose there's probably a way to change the frame rate. But there you go. From a complete derelict to a pretty damn nice fan. There's a couple little details I'm still going to do, but we are, for all intents and purposes, we are done. Oh, interesting. It's not shaking as much as it was. It actually just smoothed out even further. And it is outside, so there's a slight breeze. Alright, look at that. Alright, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. And, you know, as I always say, if you guys want to take on something like this and come across one of these old fans and want to try to restore it, I hope this was helpful. And, you know, as with all our projects, if you want to do it, don't be intimidated. Just go out, get busy. Take care. Another step. Felt. So I gotta put a felt pad on this. Let's see what I've got. I don't know what colors I have. Found some felt. The felt is held in. I don't know if it's hard to